Hey everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Best of 3 Call of Duty Esports Podcast. I'm Josh, SalvationsElite. To my right is Bash_Bo3 Sam. And to our farthest right, per usual, is Rex ShadyNero. Guys, debatably the biggest tournament of the whole year is this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely insane. There's a lot to talk about. But first, before we get anything else, guys, I got to ask, what's going on?
Well, Josh, I'm feeling like a wet nap on a Tuesday.
That's what he was laughing about.
Oh my god. He just came right in with that one.
Oh, wow. Sorry. So, guys, little insight here, listeners. He was giggling. He was laughing about before we literally was like, all right, guys, you guys ready? And he was just like laughing over there. I'm like, yo, what is happening over here? What's happening? And I think that's definitely what it was. But Sam, how you doing?
That was phenomenal. Bravo, man.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out actually what he said.
You got revved up. Oh my gosh.
All right, wow. What a way to start, guys. Oh my word. Absolute wrecking crew.
Oh my gosh.
But Call of Duty. All right, here we go. Call of Duty.
Shows up.
Call of Duty. We got a lot to talk about today, man. And we're on a time crunch because some curfew times here around the world put us on a time crunch, actually.
Time crunch.
I know. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? But tons of news in the CoD League this week. But first, before we get anything else, of course, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Find us on Twitter, SalvationsElite, Bash_Bo3, and Rex ShadyNero. And before we get into anything else, I want to read a review because we love hearing your guys' feedback out here. We got a review here from Dog12 on Apple Podcasts. You know, he says, great podcast. As well as many others, look forward to this podcast each week, and I feel like they get better and better. I really enjoy y'all's thoughts and insight. That's a shout out for Rex's y'all's there.
Thank you so
and
much.
insights on the league and going over each week in the last event. Love it. Keep it up.
Wow.
Thank you, Dog12.
Very nice.
Dog. We appreciate
Thank you, Dog. All right, here we go, boys. We're gonna get right into the news here today. I mean, and we're gonna give a week for challengers to breathe as we get into the Call of Duty League right off the rip here.
Yep.
I mean, it's been a hot week, a contested week of GAs and figuring out the new meta.
Yeah.
For competitive COD.
Mm-hmm.
And pro teams are trying to figure out like what in the world do they do with, you know, no Merc foregrip left on the M4 on the MP5 and how they, you know, what they do with their loadouts from here on out. Yeah. And it's actually changed a lot of things with how these guys approach it. So, I mean, I did just post a video on my channel today, on Monday, yesterday for you guys, about the setups and everything else. Seems like operator foregrip is kind of the go-to grip right now for all the pros. But, I mean, the Huntsmen were trying out using no stippled grip tape and throwing on the operator foregrip plus compensator. And I saw a lot of guys trying out like no grip at all and then using compensator. And then some people were using like, you know, a combination of all three in some way. So
crazy. It
is interesting. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts with the meta? And like, where do you think how it's gonna play out? What's going to affect things moving forward? Does it affect this week? How does it affect this weekend? I guess it might be the best question to ask. What are your thoughts, Rex?
I mean, honestly, I think these are good changes. But I mean, I don't think some teams are going to suddenly become a superpower. I think the teams are going to stay relatively at the same spot in the power rankings that they are now. I don't think it's going to make that drastic of a change for these teams.
Yeah.
But quality of life will probably be better for everyone.
Yeah. I know it's very I don't even know how to say it, but like adapting, you know, the
adapt,
adapt, bro.
Just adapt.
But you might see like FaZe still like do the best as they were the ones to come out.
Yeah, I guess the auto tech sprints the other, you know, side of the GA, of course.
But yeah, I completely agree with Rex. I don't think this is gonna like drastically change anything. But at the same time, I don't know. I mean, there could be just this weird if someone just does not feel comfortable anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Like, sub role.
anything, I feel like FaZe is going to become more powerful,
more dominant,
more
if they're
powerful.
as adept at using, tactical sprint as they are now. So like no one else can, like, I guess, cheat like doing the tactical sprint.
Yeah.
Was it ever
Slide cancel thing.
officially?
But anything, I think it's just gonna make the teams that are strong stronger, if that's what even happens. So
Was it ever officially found out? If,
otherwise, these are pro players. They're gonna figure it out.
Yeah. Is it ever officially confirmed if FaZe was using tac sprint, auto tac sprint? Like Clayster, like basically accused FaZe.
You mean
of-
like earlier than everyone else, or what do you
Yeah.
mean?
I saw
No,
this like
they definitely mastered like the slide cancel. That's what they were really calling him out on, was the slide cancel stuff.
yeah.
That like FaZe was hiding it.
For some reason,
Empire.
I saw this tweet where Clay was saying they should be able to use auto tac sprint for like 2 more events because
Yeah, because some teams got to use it
use it
more.
more. But I don't know where I stand on that argument. But I mean, this isn't about that. This is about the foregrip. So, but
Yeah, I mean, I know personally for me, like, it's been a tough adjustment. Go back because like I was absolutely loving, the MP5 and the meta currently as like a sub player, and getting used to auto tac sprint was a very easy transition. It's been way tougher to transition out of auto tac sprint because I found myself loving playing the game a lot more with auto tac sprint. So I play a lot of COD during those few weeks with auto tac sprint, and then we lose it. And I'm like, oh my word.
Unfortunate.
Ugh. It sucks, and it's just tough to go back to now. But so it'll be interesting to see if certain players, like, it just legitimately affects them more or not. And
Yeah.
I think that's what we're gonna have to keep an eye out for. And I mean, hey, the Huntsmen have an excuse now.
They do.
Like the meta changed right after we won, guys. What are we supposed to do? Oh,
We gotta fall back.
We got screwed. the whole meta will change, or the whole narrative will change. Who knows? But all right. I mean, we have the Community Fantasy League.
We do.
Which is news in itself. The link is in the description of the YouTube show. I had some people confused, like, "Yo, where's the link, bro?" in the comments. I'm like, you can't find the link on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, but you can't find it on YouTube. So check the comments on the YouTube video. That's where you can find the link to the next Community League. We decided to do a basic one this event. So literally just the default settings from Draft Buff. So we'll see what happens. See how it plays out versus last week.
Should be fun.
But all right, guys, we're gonna get right into it today. The full-on predictions for the event. I mean,
man.
we thought we'd give it more time this time around because I think there's a lot to talk about and how these guys are going to play out and how this could potentially all unfold.
Yeah.
And go into it. So, all right, guys, let's start out with Group A here. Obviously, we got Surge, FaZe, Rokkr, and Empire in Group A. In Group B is LAG, Ultra, Huntsmen, and Mutineers. Let's start with the Surge FaZe match in Group A.
Group A is such a stacked one.
It's ridiculous, bro. The Surge got
Poor Surge.
Surge are getting,
they're getting bodied. They're getting bodied. They're what you really hate to see. I mean, yeah, so you got Surge versus FaZe.
And then Group B
Rokkr,
is
Empire.
like 3 bad, 2 bad teams at least.
Yeah, I know. The
Probably
Huntsmen
3
got
bad
blessed.
teams in
Huntsmen
there.
got blessed.
Huntsman got blessed.
Yeah, legitimately. So, all right, Surge FaZe. What are you guys' thoughts, man? I mean, obviously, Surge are winning this one, right?
I think what's interesting.
No, shut him down, cowboy.
I think everyone is going to pick FaZe, but can Surge take a map off FaZe? That's what I would
mean,
like
the new rolled Surge. Obviously,
Yeah.
we got Octane now running this MP5.
Yep.
MP5 Tane just out here frying, bro. But I don't know, man.
That is the question. Does Octane's offset?
Is it a 3-0 or is it not?
Is it a 3-0?
I could imagine they take off.
Wow, really? They can take a
something.
map.
And I'll really, it is probably a 3-0. The Surge team just struggles event after event.
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine the majority of people are going to take a 3-0 FaZe here, but
but I mean,
Here's the thing.
I can see him taking a Dom, though. Surge has been good in Dom.
Yeah, I could see Surge somehow winning the series. Honestly, I think they have the.
What?
Where
did this come from?
Just it's like one of those one-off things. Like they're playing the best team in the league, so obviously they get that more hype from it. They're all great players, minus maybe Pander. So if Enable goes in, it's like you got 5 all-star players. And like this is.
You mean Joey
That's a good
Nubs, bro?
team.
He'll be the 5th.
Yeah. No.
He was trying to get it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like, I could see that. I just in some parallel universe, like I could just see it happening. I don't think it's going to happen just based on Surge's track record,
Right.
but it could just be that one thing where just like that's just their miracle series.
You know what? I bet they'd take an
And Surge
S&D.
is a team that could do that miracle series.
I bet they take
Suddenly, what's happening here?
I bet they take off. They are able to actually clutch up around 11. That would be the most likely scenario, though, like because they've consistently gone to a round 11 S&D.
And then lose.
Yeah, but if they somehow win that round 11, I don't know.
Well, no, it's not going to happen. Let's be
Probably
honest.
no.
It's going to be a 3-0 or 3-1, and the only way they're going to win is potentially the Dom.
If Surge gets to a round 11 and then they win that round 11 in the second map, I could see them like being so hyped up and getting so cracked from that they could take the series.
You
I
heard
don't think
it
it's
here
going to
first.
happen, but I think,
Surge.
I wouldn't say they're just.
I'll do a
completely
$20
just
giveaway
like,
on my stream if Surge win this series.
Wow. $20.
$20
You
giveaway.
heard it here first, folks.
$20.
Yep, that's it because it's not going to happen. It's a $0 bet for me. That's why I'm doing it. But
Okay.
all right, let's move on. We got Empire Rokkr here in the second match. This looked like a much more stacked match 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
Rokkr have been struggling, obviously, not what you love to see if you're a Minnesota fan. Where are you guys at with this? What are you guys' thoughts here?
I think this is even. I think this is just as clear of a match as Surge FaZe.
Really?
Almost. Rokkr just looks so unfortunately not good.
I mean, that's what I was saying 2 events ago. I was like, is this going to be the beginning of the end for the Rokkr?
Could be.
Mhm.
Or are they going to turn the corner and figure out what's wrong with their team? And Godorex hasn't looked the same. Sim has been inconsistent to say the least.
He did put out that frying clip.
That clip.
The clip
Yeah,
was pretty
shout
cool.
out the gas. I mean, again, I don't doubt Sim's talent as an individual player because we saw it last year. We've seen it at points this year.
Yeah.
But like the role that he has on this team, and something's off with how they play maps, and it's just not working right now with the new meta of the team. Maybe the adjustments will help him play a little bit slower, and like it'll force him to find his rhythm on the map. Maybe that's possible.
Very true.
But I mean, yeah, Rex, yeah, your thoughts. You say this could be. It's an uphill battle.
I mean, I think Empire's going to win. I've been trying to give Rokkr the benefit of the doubt for so long where I just like, I can't do it anymore.
You're just tired of it.
It's tiring me out.
After a few weeks here, yeah, yikes.
And we haven't seen Empire in a long time.
I know, that's the thing.
But people are talking about the Empire still. Like, Empire pretty good. Empire really strong. People are scared of them. So I trust Empire is probably still that scary level of good. So I think, and then Rokkr's just been looking weaker and weaker every time. So
And the thing with
gotta go
Empire
with
is,
Empire.
I still don't think we've seen Shotzzy and ILLeY's peak. Like that's the scary thing.
Well, yeah, that's when it gets scary. You're like, oh,
Like,
ILLeY
ILLeY has so much room to improve, and that team is still like dominating. Like,
Yeah.
where could they potentially be?
you know, how are they going to deal with the SMGs? And I just don't know. I mean, you got Alex, but then who's going to be that next SMG to step up? Is it going to be is it going to be silly on certain maps? Like, what's it going to take for them to outduel Shotzzy, Hook, and ILLeY on the maps? I just don't see it happening in any way in a 5-game series.
You wouldn't think so, no.
Yeah, so it's just like, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna take the Empire for sure, probably in a 3-1.
Yeah,
if not a 3-0.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
All right, so that sets up our first winners match and our first losers match here. We got Surge and the losers playing Rokkr, and then FaZe, of course, playing Empire. Let's start with a juicy one. Let's start with FaZe Empire.
Yes.
I mean, this is a long-awaited duel again. It's been over a month.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And I'm excited to see what happens here.
I know. This is like the only two teams I think a lot of people are seeing now are the only two teams in the top tier.
In the tier 1.
Tier 1. So yeah,
some Huntsman fans would disagree, but
they're wrong. Huntsmen are definitely not tier 1. Hey, I love Formal, but they're not tier 1 anymore. Yeah, this is the Battle of Titans.
And this can easily be a rematch in the finals too. That's what's really interesting about it as well.
Absolutely.
All right, Rex, start us off. Who you got?
I'm going with Empire for this one.
Wow.
Now, I say this like FaZe are clearly really strong. But everyone keeps talking about the Empire. We haven't seen the Empire in a while, but so I remember Simp went on the Barracks, like that Call of Duty show that they have, and he was talking
it's
about
been good, by the way.
Not bad.
which it has. I have enjoyed them, but he was on there and he's basically, they asked him like who's like the strongest team or scariest team or whatever, and he said that Empire was. And I don't know, just the way he said it and the way he kind of looked just kind of made me think it's like, oh, they're actually kind of freaked out by them. Like they actually feel like Empire could beat them. And then also with Twitter and their whole beef thing that they had where Empire basically chalked the scrim with FaZe. Some people might take it as like Empire are scared of scrimming FaZe, or I think it's more, it's like Empire feels like they are at a place that's better than FaZe, and they don't want to give FaZe like ideas or any advantage or learn their strats or learn them. It's like, we're just not going to play them because we feel like we're better than them. Yeah. So much better. Like they're so confident in that. They're like, we're chalking a scrim against a great team. Why would we give them
info? Yeah.
Why would you give this great team info? And the FaZe was mad about not being able to scrim them. Like really mad.
Yeah.
And so it's like FaZe must be like, they must feel like they're under pressure too. Like Empire has been beating us in scrims or whatever, possibly. And they've been wanting to scrim them over and over again because they're kind of scared. You know, and Empire's saying we won't, they get really upset.
No, like it's a good point. Team. Maybe they're a little bit in their heads after like chalking the scrim like that. They're like, we're just gonna piss them off. We're just gonna not scrim them. Like, why give them the info? I think it's a real point. That's a real argument. I love that.
Yeah.
I think Empire could take it. I hope Empire in that place. I haven't seen a lot from them in a long time.
I mean, we literally haven't seen them play since like what, the end of April. So April, like Chicago's event, April 24th, 26th. So like
crazy. It's
been like 5.5 weeks basically or whatever. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So okay, you're taking Empire. I mean, Sam, where are you at with it? I mean, do you agree?
I hear your argument, and I completely. That's a very sound argument. I'm gonna go FaZe here, and I'm gonna put a lot of weight on the meta change, being maybe FaZe adapts better than Empire.
And Empire didn't want to originally. You know, that was a report that Empire and the Mutineers were the two teams that were kind of resisting the change.
Yeah. So I am putting a lot of weight on that, but at the same time, I am not surprised if Empire takes this one, because I do think Empire is in a bit of a stronger place than FaZe. Just from their last showing, which again was two events ago.
Yeah.
So things could have changed. But I think FaZe may come out. You know, they do have that fire from being they were on top. Now they're considered second, maybe very obviously close second.
Game modes wise, do you favor Empire, FaZe, Hardpoint, S&D, Dom, like game mode by game mode? Rex, you can answer as well, of course.
I feel like FaZe would. I was gonna say like S&D.
I think S&D.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think S&D Empire can take. I think Empire takes S&Ds.
Yeah.
The respawns is where it gets iffy. I could see Empire being better than them at domination as well. Hard points, maybe FaZe is better.
I give FaZe the advantage in hard points for sure.
Yeah, but I could see Dom and S&D Empire being the winner, and I think Empire can put up a fight in those hard points too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was just gonna say I definitely think FaZe all the way for hard points.
S&D's scrappy though.
S&D's just kind of weird right now.
There's a lot more film on FaZe the past 2 weeks though than in S&D. I mean, that might be the X factor for S&D though.
Yeah,
it's like you haven't seen Empire play S&D in 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've seen FaZe play a lot of S&D the past month.
Yeah.
So I think that's the argument. I mean, honestly, I came in wanting to pick FaZe, but I might pick Empire, Rex. You had some good arguments there. I'm gonna go Empire as well.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. I forgot to show the bracket here. This is the bracket.
There's the bracket.
There you go, YouTube. I'm so sorry for not showing the bracket. There you go. But okay. So I'm gonna go Empire there, which actually throws off my original thought a little bit here. Sending FaZe down to losers, which I was not expecting to do. But all right, we got Surge Rokkr here now. Who you guys got?
I am going to take Surge here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that more telling to Surge or more telling to Rokkr State?
I feel like I'm putting a lot of weight on Rokkr State, which could be a bad thing to do where maybe we've seen their worst two events.
I mean, yeah, this is if they lose to Seattle.
Yeah.
if they lose to Seattle,
this could be a lot of
now you're
angry
worried.
Rokkr players. But I can see a different argument. Where we've seen Rokkr's rock bottom, no pun intended.
I'm laughing over here.
But maybe Surge. I am very interested to see Surge's role change here. I just want to see if removing Octane, supposedly, or I believe was the best AR in the game, to a sub.
Right.
Is that offset less than when, because Karma's now playing the main AR, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Is that
what's the give and take?
Yeah,
there?
I know. I don't know.
That's the biggest question. I don't know, but
so
I don't think it's enough to beat Rokkr, right, Rex?
Maybe not, but
right, Rex?
I don't know.
so things of something crazy always happens, and I think this might be the crazy thing where we just see Rokkr get surprised by Surge.
Surge is just so hard to figure out because it's all these names. And you're like, these are like
Big
championship names. Like, these are big names.
Hey, I mean, how many times have we had the conversation?
And the fact that they just keep losing and
It's
losing
so
and
depressing.
losing over and over again, it's just like doesn't make sense.
No.
And for someone who's been following COD for so long, it's like these names don't lose like that. They don't get just stomped every
know.
time.
I mean, we've seen the tweets. They have chalked the season.
I know, and that's like the crazy part. But like, they're great players, so it's just like I can't wait until the YouTube video comes out documenting, telling us exactly what's happening.
I want to know what is going on
because they don't blame each other. They don't blame the coach. It's like oh man, if I could tell you guys
It's
what's
just the
happening,
what
I
ifs,
would. It's
yeah.
like, what else is happening? Like, how is if it's not the players, it's not the coach? Like, how is the boss really affecting you that much?
I know. I mean,
just play.
I just don't. There's just, again, I'm not confident in the Rokkr. I mean, after we saw them last week, they beat OpTic and then they lost to the Huntsman 3-0. Then they got 3-0'd by OpTic after beating them originally 3-2. But I think they should be able to beat Surge here. I think they could. It'll probably be a 3-1. Surge take like a Dom. Because Surge has actually been decent in Dom. It's been their best game mode. And but I'm expecting Rokkr to play well at least.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Rokkr go in there. I haven't totally count Rokkr out that much for them to lose to Surge, but
Yeah, exactly.
with Surge, they're like my wild card. Eventually, they're gonna go on a spree. I just feel it in my bones.
I mean, it could be the COD Champs run, dude. It could be. If there's
Really
ever going to be a
could.
team to do the COD Champs run, it'd be the Surge.
Absolutely.
at some point, Surge is gonna have an upset. Like they have to.
I mean,
like,
actually,
those
he could
players are
literally
just too
pull.
good.
He could literally just pull the World War II Champs run
Absolutely.
out of nowhere again.
Yeah,
why not?
Maybe
Why not?
Abezy's really good.
maybe they need to replace Pander/Enable with Aches. And then they make
And
the
then
champs
it's
run.
just for champs.
Yeah. It's that would be
Let's
amazing.
go. That's it. That's the play right there, baby. That's the play.
You heard it here first.
Hot
Aches
fire.
for Enable/Pander. Wouldn't that be something?
I'm about that. Let's do it.
I mean, literally, Aches shows up at champs. So,
Yeah.
so maybe they
He
should
really
trade him in just for champs.
I'm about it. Let's do it. All right, FaZe Rokkr to finish out Group A here. I mean, for me, Rex, you have Empire.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was gonna say I've got a
Just
different
bragging
one
here.
than
Sorry,
you.
guys. I've been a bad producer today. All right, FaZe. So Rex, let's start this thing off. FaZe Rokkr. FaZe. Yeah, feeling pretty good about that. I'm
Like
pretty
I said,
confident
Rokkr look
as
weak.
well.
FaZe are strong. FaZe win.
And then I've got Empire Surge, so I've got a completely
different matchup there. Yeah.
Which I've got Empire going through. Again, I don't see a way in which Group A does not come out with FaZe and Empire in some order. First, last, first, whatever. I feel like that's a pretty safe bet there that those two come out of Group A.
Yeah. No, I'm okay with that. I'm agree with you. I mean, again, FaZe and Empire, in my opinion, we're going to keep hitting it home.
Yeah.
They're in a tier of their own.
Absolutely.
And so I'm sending FaZe through as well, which sends Empire and FaZe through for me, Empire and FaZe through for Rex, and FaZe and Empire, FaZe coming out of winners for Samp. So, all right, move down to Group B here. LAG Ultra map, or first matchup here. Really a barn burner for the beginning of the season. This is what we're talking about, baby.
Yeah.
And we're all sending the Ultra through. They look pretty good.
They've looked solid. They've looked really solid. Methods has looked really solid. I'm liking his gameplay. I really thought that Ultra was going to succeed with Looney, but he just has not been
Not
looking,
his game, man. Not his game.
Not his game. So rip Looney. Hopefully you can find some success next year. Of course, I'm kind of assuming he is gonna not get on a team this year. But yeah, it's crazy though. Like it's cool to see Ultra, kind of come up from basically just being horrible for the past couple events. So I think they're gonna, at least they can beat LAG, and then no spoilers, could possibly get out of Group B.
Wink,
Possibly.
wink.
Yeah.
All right, let's go down. Huntsman Mutineers. What were you gonna say, Rex?
I'm in the same boat. Ultra, I think they've been looking stronger. LAG hasn't really impressed me that much. Ultra, I feel like, is kind of like the clear one. It's like Ultra's on the up, LAG is kind of stagnant.
Yeah, I agree. Every weekend I've felt more and more impressed with Ultra, and then the only team LAG's beat is Seattle. The cow finally fought back.
That was the greatest. By the way, that GIF was the greatest.
It was, dude. It was.
Stick to almond milk. The cow just kicks him in the face.
Dead.
Oh my gosh.
Man, now your boys, Sam. Huntsman.
This is also very clear. Although Huntsman I am curious to see if they can keep the same fire that they showed.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's the same thing over and over.
I know.
And they're playing against the new look Mutineers.
Yeah.
The new look Mutineers with Mox benched, bringing in Awakening.
Yeah, that is true. I don't think they're going to struggle with Mutineers. However, I am thinking that they're going to struggle later on in this tournament. That's why I'm picking a pretty confident Huntsman for the first round. But I really don't have a lot of info on Awakening. So he could come out and just destroy.
He's been a beast.
So
it's all about how you play with the team, though. In Modern Warfare, we've seen it so many times.
Yeah,
you can be so talented, but if you don't mold with the team, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. AKA Gunless.
Yeah. So, Rex, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, same boat. I'm going to go with Huntsman on this one. Mutineers, they're picking up Awakening. He's been shown, and he's proven himself, I think, in the Challengers. But I don't think it's enough to keep up with, like, Scump, Formal, these veterans who are great. But I could see them taking a map or two off Huntsman, honestly.
Yeah.
But it depends if Huntsman's riding that high with Prestinni, the new player on the team, that novelty high that you ride, or if that's going to be gone.
That's the biggest problem. Like, we've only seen Scump succeed in first tournaments with new rosters. Black Ops 4, they win the tournament with the first tournament of the year, and then they don't win again. Obviously they were successful at Champs. They finished top 3 at Champs. It's not like they weren't playing well, but and then this year, we see first tournament of the year, they take it home, and then their first tournament, first tournament of the year technically, and then then back here with Prestinni, they take it home as well. So I'm not convinced. I'm not sold with the Huntsman. It's a narrative kind of driven analysis there, but like at the same time, like it's been a fact. And like watching them on scrims the past few days, they were experimenting with the no stippled on in scrims, which is interesting to say the least. And I'm not convinced that they're confident in themselves as a team.
They could collapse.
I'm in the same boat. I don't know if they're totally confident in themselves yet.
They could collapse. Like, I know I said I'm pretty confident in this one, but like there is a world where they just collapse with the new meta, and then they haven't really ironed out.
And then they blame the new meta.
And they blame the new meta. So
I'm telling you, it's possible. Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
I'm gonna pick the Huntsman as well, but I think it's more in my doubts of the Mutineers coming together as a new roster than it is about the Huntsman's greatness at this point. Yeah. All right, that sets up our Ultra Huntsman matchup and our Mutineers LAG matchups between all of us here. Yep. Let's start Ultra Huntsman. This is interesting. Sam, you were kind of teasing something.
I was. So if you go back, I was talking to you about this before. I think we thought it was Atlanta, where Ultra took Huntsman to a game 5.
Yeah, when basically nobody thought it was possible.
When no one thought it was possible. I might look it up. Anyways, so there is. I do think this is going to be actually a good match. This could, be a 3-2, game 5 deciding. But I might.
I don't know, man. In scrims, Toronto was playing well against the Huntsman.
Yeah. I originally, I'm probably going to pick Huntsman here, but I would not be shocked if Ultra beat Huntsman here. Okay, I'm picking Huntsman. Call it.
It's risky not to take the Huntsman.
I know. But yeah, no, there is a strong argument to be had where Ultra does take this series.
Yeah.
Where
100%.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys might have that. I don't know.
Rex, what do you have?
I mean, I'm going to take the Huntsman as well. I don't know how. Like, yeah, the Ultra are looking stronger, but Huntsmen have just won a tournament.
Yeah.
Not that it was like the hardest tournament for them to win, like the best teams weren't there, but there was teams that you would consider better than Ultra there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think Huntsmen have got to take it. Ultra will put up a fight. I think they can, like Sam said, like they went to game 5, but I think Huntsmen are really good in S&D. Like,
yeah,
and I think Scump will show up.
That was
Envoy
surprising how good they were,
especially in
S&D.
S&Ds.
I'm shocked that people still keep picking St. Petro S&D. Like that's
against Huntsman.
That's Envoy's playground.
Yeah,
like I was shocked to see that map come out, but that's kind of the sidetrack point. But yeah, no, they've been looking really good in S&D. So
yeah,
no,
so
literally, like what in the world?
That's what's gonna happen. I think the S&Ds are gonna kill the Ultra.
Yeah.
They might take a Dom or hard point, but that's it.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how that plays out. I mean, I'm going to take the Huntsman. But
thought about it. You thought about Ultra.
I was very tempted. I was really tempted. I agree with you. I mean, the Ultra, they match up in an interesting way with the Huntsman, though, with the game modes. I think the S&Ds are going to be the factor, though, the let's This could go game 5.
Definitely.
But I think the Huntsman come out on top. All right, let's move on. Move on. LAG Mutineers. Rex, who you got?
I'm going Mutineers on this one. Mutineers at least have shown themselves a little bit. Awakening, we know Awakening we assume is going to be a somewhat strong player. But LAG has just been weak, especially like Spart. Like, I don't think he's been great at all. So I think they're going to falter and Mutineers are going to beat them. So yeah, Mutineers.
Okay, Sam.
I'm going to pick LAG.
Why? In what universe do you think LAG is gonna beat the Mutineers?
Here's my universe.
My universe.
This is the universe where I see.
This is the Mr. Universe.
Let's say that Awakening, they just do not clash. Or they do clash. This team doesn't mold together. Man, they would have to really not. They'd have to really
not click.
Yeah, seriously.
I really don't have a good.
You're just deviating for fun.
I don't have a good argument here. This is one of those things where I think that could be a weird thing that could happen.
I mean, to be fair, basically every single event, something's been like, what?
I know.
What?
So like,
if this is your what moment,
this is my what moment. I'm apologize to everyone who wants an explanation. I don't have one. So LAG.
This is the breakdowns you get here on the Best of 3 podcast.
Wow,
this is some good stuff.
I just put our podcast like just way down there. I'm so sorry.
Things you love to see. Also, why I had some dead air a second ago because I was looking for the stat to find the Huntsman's record on Petro. They're 5-1 this year on Petro. Which is the best in the COD League.
Yeah.
And the Ultra have not played Petro.
Really?
So maybe they're gonna ban it.
That would be the smart move, you would think.
I don't know. Ultra's looking kind of scary this tournament. Like, scarier. I don't think they can win at all, but
no, definitely. Like,
they have potential.
They should be considered a competitor. Like,
yeah, the Ultra are 2-3 on Gunrunner, and the Huntsmen are 5-2. So I'd expect them to play Gunrunner.
Yeah.
The Ultra have only played Arclov twice, and they're good on Ramaza. So
that is crazy to think that like a team hasn't played.
Yeah, and the Huntsmen have only played Ramaza once, so they'll probably ban Ramaza.
Yeah.
So they'll either play Arclov, Gunrunner, or Piccadilly. So.
Huh.
Yeah. I'd expect Piccadilly and Gunrunner, but all right, let's continue.
Yeah.
I am picking LAG and Mutineers here, and I am as well going to take the Mutineers. I actually have an explanation. Because Awakening's a god.
Yeah.
It's as straightforward as that. Nah. But I actually do think Awakening's going to be really solid, but I just don't know how the playstyle is going to fit right off the rip here. They have had about, 10 days or so to practice by now, by the time the tournament rolls around, so they'll at least have some good practice in.
And it's LAG.
But it's LAG.
That's all I have to say. It's LAG.
So I'm definitely taking Mutineers. I would be
LAG
shocked.
is like basically all AMs, and then those AMs were worse than the new
Yikes.
AMs that are coming into these new teams. Like Pharaoh and Awakening are better than all the AMs on the Gladiators. So like,
Wow, they may as well
whatever
pick up
their name
JCap
is.
with the hate that Rex is shooting their way.
Guerillas.
All right.
When a player's bad, they're bad. Like, you know.
That is some foreshadowing.
Yes.
All right, Ultra Mutineers to round out our Group B here. Set up our championship bracket.
Well, my match is pretty easy here. I'm picking
Oh,
Ultra.
you got Ultra and LAG.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm going to go first here. Ultra's going to take it. LAG. LAG does not deserve to, be where they are in the bracket. Ultra is going to take it. You
Are you
guys,
sure? You sure Spart isn't going to pop off?
you never know, bro. You never know. Yeah, you guys can go ahead because that was an easy pick for me.
Interesting. All right, Rex, fire away.
I think I'm going to go with Mutineers for this one. It's a tough one. This is probably my best matchup to tell me where things are at with these teams. Ultra versus Mutineers. The Mutineers we had near the higher end, and now they're kind of faltering. Ultra's kind of on the up climb, and I feel like they're almost meeting in the middle at the same time. So to see who comes out on top
Yeah,
for
it
this,
actually is interesting. I agree.
So I think Mutineers can pull it off, even though they had the change. I think Awakening's really good. It depends who can show up for Ultra to win it, and sometimes Ultra doesn't always show up, as far as I've seen. So I think Mutineers is going to take it just based off track record.
Yeah, they're 1-1 against each other this year, which is interesting. They're 5-4 map count on the year as well. So obviously that was pre Mox change here, but I'm gonna stick with the love for Ultra as well. I'm gonna take the Ultra. We're all picking Ultra.
Yay!
Wow, all three of us are taking Ultra to get out of this group. That's actually wild. I would
But
not
here's the thing.
guess that.
But Mutineers, they made a switch, and they know where they were at skill wise. They wouldn't make a switch that what they would think would make them worse. And you even said Awakening is a great player.
Yeah.
So you have to assume that they think they've gotten better. And if they haven't, they'll just play Mox again. But they must feel like they've gotten better, I think.
No, I agree. I mean, they wouldn't have made the move unless they were confident that this would make him better. Very confident that this would make him better. And so that's why I think it's really interesting. And the Mutineers could easily bounce back here. And they're definitely the X Factor team for me this tournament, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, that sets up our group brackets here. We got, I just swapped away from it. I'm an idiot. Swapped away from it. Sam's got FaZe, Ultra, and Huntsman Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Rex has Empire. Oh, he hasn't typed it in yet.
Mutineers. Empire Mutineers.
Oh, the struggle's real.
Huntsman FaZe.
Yes.
I got it.
And I've got Empire Ultra and Huntsman FaZe. Wow, we've all got different brackets
champs,
here, which
yeah.
is interesting.
Heyo.
Okay, so Sam, start us off.
Would this be the first time Ultra made it to a championship bracket?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
For you two?
Yep.
Okay.
It's got to be. Yeah. Okay, so my first match is going to be FaZe versus Ultra. I think this is a pretty clear cut. Ultra definitely, fought their way to get here, but FaZe is just going to be the more dominant team by far. I don't really have any concerns with that pick at all.
I got Empire versus Mutineers.
Yeah. Fire away, Rex. Who you got?
I got Empire versus Mutineers, and I think a clear cut Empire is going to beat Mutineers. Awakening's good, but I don't think he's so good he's going to carry against a tier 1 team.
Yeah, that's actually interesting though. I think the Mutineers are an interesting matchup for the Empire, but I agree. I think the talent at the end of the day
There's
on
no
Empire,
way.
they're just gonna know how to play the game better as a team, which is it matters so much in Modern Warfare. I got Empire Ultra as well. Again, man, I still believe in every facet of the game. Empire and FaZe are in their own tier, and it's gonna continue to show.
Yeah.
For a second there, I thought you were going to say, I don't know, Ultra. I was like,
I don't know, man.
even
Ultra's
play
looking
that
real
game.
good.
They have looked good.
They have looked good.
There's a reason why they're here.
True.
But FaZe and Empire get through for all of us. There you
Yeah.
go. All right, back down to the bottom of this championship bracket, the other semifinal. Sam's got Huntsman Empire. Rex
Yeah.
has Huntsman FaZe. and I as well have Huntsman FaZe.
So really good matchup for everyone, honestly. I mean, again, this is tier 1 team going against...
I'm hoping we get all these matchups because I want to see them.
I know. So for my end, Empire versus Huntsman, like, again, we're going to sound like a broken record, but Empire and FaZe are in a tier of their own. Huntsmen are not in the tier 1 anymore. I thought they were, at the beginning, but you can't confidently say that Huntsmen are up there with Empire and FaZe anymore. They just look shaky. So just going off of that, I think Empire's going to take this one. I don't think it's going to be like a roll. Like they're not going to roll them over, by any means, but maybe Huntsman will take off an S&D or, maybe I don't know, Dom. I don't know. But I think Empire will, in the end, beat Huntsman here.
Man. That's tough for you, though.
I know. It really is. It hurts to say.
But it's Formal going to have a good series.
Formal's going to have a great series. It's going to have a fantastic series.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
I don't know, man. If I had that matchup, I'd take Empire.
Yeah.
I'd take Empire.
It's just hard to not. Like, Empire, I just increasingly look better, and then Huntsman make this change. And there's a meta change. It's like, oh, man, are they going to even, come together for this? I don't know.
I know. I mean, again, they looked great, but I just don't know if I'm going to buy into it as a tier 1 team yet. Like, in the last event for you Huntsman fans out there who are like, dude, they're going to win. Like, they're a tier 1 team. I mean, they beat Paris 3-1. Then they beat the Rokkr 3-0 in a close series. A close 3-0.
It was a close 3-0.
It's a close 3-0. And then they beat Subliners 3-1, which again, a solid win as well. And then you beat London 3-1. I mean, the Rokkr one's the most interesting there, but then you go see Rokkr lose 3-0 to OpTic, and then OpTic loses to London. So you're like, all right, there's just a middling tier of like 5 teams right now outside of the top 2 where you're just like, I don't know.
It could be.
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's a lot on the line for the Huntsmen here because you're proven to be a top 2 team, and like it matters moving forward with like the standings and how this is going to work, solidifying your spot in like the top, basically solidifying like $500,000 for champs with these standings. And so it's like, that's why it matters a lot. And I'm really interested to see how the Huntsmen like live up to that hype. But yeah, I don't know. Rex, you've got Huntsmen playing FaZe.
Right. So,
and I have Huntsmen playing FaZe.
This one is a matchup where I wish Huntsmen could win, but I don't see it happening. I think FaZe are too fast, and I know Prestinni's like known as like one of the fastest players in the league, but that's also what I think is going to be their downfall. Is that I think Simp and Abezy can keep up with that, but they know how to monitor their speed and change the speed to match whatever they need to do.
Yeah,
I think FaZe are just going to be way too strong, especially in the respawns. I think FaZe is just going to be incredibly strong. Like, FaZe could win on all the respawns, I think, on this one.
Yeah.
Huntsmen have a chance with the S&Ds, I'd say. But
they definitely do. I agree.
Even then, I still think FaZe is going to take one of the S&Ds if it goes to a game 5.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree.
So I got to go with FaZe for this one.
I 100% agree. I just don't see a world where the Huntsmen, find themselves as a squad and improve in hardpoint and Dom to an extent where they're going to beat FaZe in a 5-game series or in a 4-game, specifically a 4-game series. But yeah, I agree with you. If it goes game 5, you're like, all right, you're sitting there game 5, you're looking at FaZe and Huntsman. If Huntsman won first map, like now suddenly you're playing FaZe's pick for map 2 or whatever, like, whatever it is. Like, yeah, I just feel like you got to take FaZe at the end of the day when it comes down to map by map, game mode by game mode. FaZe is the better team. And like, I'm going to take the 2 guys who I think going into this are the top 2 teams in the tier tier 1 teams, and that's FaZe Empire, man. Mm-hmm. And we all have FaZe Empire in the final. Look at that.
Though wow. I would love to see an Empire Huntsman. I would love to see all the hype, power teams, hype teams face each other. I'd love to see Huntsman win that matchup, but I just don't think they will.
I know.
That would be tons of fun.
Crazy.
But we, at the end of the day, after all the madness, after all the different routes we took, it all led to me.
Would have thought.
Empire FaZe. Sam.
Wow.
Lead us off here.
So I had FaZe winning Empire when they first met up in Group A.
Yeah.
Ah, man. The statistical thing to do is say, okay, well, the Empire's going to win this time because it's kind of hard to beat a team twice. However, oh man, there's something in me that thinks that FaZe is just going to win this tournament.
Yeah.
They're going to have to beat Empire twice if they do. Unless Empire, of course, loses their first match, which is not going to happen. I am going to go with my initial thinking and go with FaZe here. It's not an easy FaZe pick because Empire looks so good. Again, these two teams are widely considered both in, tier 1.
Yeah.
I honestly don't I can't confidently say it, but for some reason I just feel like FaZe might take it.
So FaZe solidifies themselves as the best team in the league by a large margin in this tournament.
If they beat him twice, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
But then again though, it's it might there might be better, but just by a slim margin.
Oh, it could be 2 game 5s.
Two game 5s, round 11.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just gonna go with FaZe here.
Okay. No, I mean I can't argue it. That's for sure.
It's just hard.
Your lines got all mixed up on your
they did.
bracket.
Well, I apologize.
Things you hate to see, It's all good. It's all good. All right, Rex,
terrible.
take us away. Empire FaZe.
So for me, this is definitely a tough matchup. I had Empire winning the first time.
That's the interesting. That's what,
and
we both had Empire winning the first time.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna have Empire win again.
Oh, interesting. You guys went opposite routes here. Well, the similar opposite routes.
Opposite.
Yeah. I think Empire is sort of at this point. I feel like FaZe is scared of Empire, legitimately scared of them. And I think Empire is almost like this, dark, mysterious god. Everyone says they're amazing, but nobody seems to be able to see any of it. And what's their team? It's why are they so good? You'd think FaZe is going to crush everybody, but why are they scared of Empire? What is Empire doing? And it's hard to pinpoint what Empire is doing, but they just seem to win. So I think Empire is going to take it. I really do. I think Empire's got things figured out, and I think they're going to become the new tier 1. FaZe drops to tier 2 almost.
You could say they're the John Wayne of the COD League, the old.
Yeah, I think Empire's become that new level of good where they could almost hit complexity levels. I could see Empire getting there.
Yeah. I mean, they do shoot silver bullets. No, crickets. Okay.
Wow.
All right. Well,
just kind of killed that one, man. Nice.
So I got the Empire FaZe as well, like I said, and I had Empire beating FaZe the first time around as well. But I think they got the scrim they were looking for. That they lost round 1. They're like, all right, let's learn something. We had a few days to prep for them. Now we're going back. We're beating Empire. FaZe are taking this one, man.
You don't think Empire's prepared for that though? With Crimsix on that team, with Glacier on the team, you think they're not prepared for that?
Of course they're prepared for it, but
they're prepared to play FaZe twice. They're preparing for that.
Sam was going to town on his shoulder there.
Sorry, really itchy.
This has been a wild podcast, guys. I'm so sorry.
Empire's strength is Empire is so smart, so strategical. They just understand, especially, and I think comes from that veteran leadership. Now they have Rambo Ray, who's a solid coach.
Oh, 100%.
Who's not a jokester. You listen to him, he has wise insight. He's a real coach.
Crowder, though.
So I feel like Empire, I think they got things figured out.
Yeah, but I think the prep, going into the tournaments, is what separates Empire in the first matchup. But in the second matchup, FaZe finally gets the taste of what they were trying to do. No. The difference is we've seen FaZe these past month. We haven't seen Empire. So that's the X factor. So now FaZe saw Empire. They come back second time around. It's hard. It's incredibly difficult to beat a team twice, especially a team as talented as FaZe. FaZe take it off of them. Bang, championship.
But Empire's talent. Empire is prepared.
Yeah, but I think the individual talent on FaZe across the board is better than Empire at the end of the day, and that combined with them having to rematch is the X factor. So
we'll see.
Obviously,
I think
we
the
disagree
strategy
there.
from Empire is going to be better than FaZe.
Yeah.
I think Empire prepared for that second matchup in the grand finals. I think Empire almost is like, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think they already know. I bet they have a championship strategy set up, and they're going to do their like first round strategy, and then they have their championship strategy.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
really
FaZe-
possible.
I don't know. I could honestly, I don't know. I could see it going 3-1 Empire.
Dang.
Honestly, I think FaZe have been bleeding recently. I feel like something's
3-1
kind of
FaZe
off with them.
In the grand final. All right,
Why
Sam,
hasn't
what's the bet?
FaZe
What's
been
the bet
winning?
be?
FaZe has been disappointed in their showings. Like, why hasn't FaZe been winning if they're that good? You know.
You're saying if they win 3-1?
Me and Rex have to have a bet here. If it ends up being FaZe of the Empire.
If Empire wins,
Okay.
we do hottest operator.
Oh my word! That is what it has to be. That is what it has to be.
I was gonna say you got to let me do the intro, and then you have to do
Oh.
like the how you doing
That'd be
thing.
funny.
That was what I was gonna say. But hottest operators.
That's what it has to be.
If
If Empire win this tournament, it's
we will
hottest
do
operators
hottest operator. Next podcast.
next podcast.
Yeah. This is
Let's go, Sam.
This
Kill
is,
FaZe.
this is actually like a very juicy now. Like people have been wanting this. We've been holding off.
There's a lot on the line.
There's a lot on the line here. So
Okay.
Hottest operators.
Hottest operators now is on the table, but let's talk MVPs. All right.
yes.
Sam, who's your MVP of the tournament?
So considering FaZe win,
Yeah.
I think it would be Celium. I can see
It kind of seemed like it's either Simp or Celium.
Celium or Simp. It's kind of like rough because like it's almost like Maniac is not really in a position to be an MVP, and then same with Abezy is just kind of like
Neither is Priesta.
Priesta 2, which is like
You got the Slayer, Simp, and then main AR.
exactly. So
Celium.
like who's putting up the
The better stats.
Them, of course. So
Yeah.
you can hedge your bets. Celium or Simp. I'm just gonna say Celium. Just
I think I'm going to go Simp.
Mm.
I mean, Celium is the better like bet considering like the SMG nerfs, I guess,
Yeah.
or the the GAs.
GAs, whatever.
But I'm gonna go Simp. I think last event, the slaying power that Simp provides is so valuable, and that's gonna be the X factor in a lot of ways. So, all right, Rex, who you got for Empire?
Yeah, if Empire's winning, I think it's gonna be
It's gonna be
Shotzzy.
Shotzzy.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I could
crazy.
see it. I could honestly see it being Crimsix or Clayster, one of the two veterans. Also, I could see it, but I think Shotzzy is going to be my decision for MVP.
I agree. I mean, I think if Empire's dominating and playing that well, it's because Shotzi's slaying
Yeah.
like crazy.
Absolutely.
Just how that team's built at this point.
It's insane.
I'm so excited to see Shotzzy versus FaZe and ILLeY even both of them, Shotzzy and ILLeY versus FaZe. Like that is so exciting
That'd be
for
a
me to
great
watch.
match. Yeah, it's gonna be a great matchup.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's not like a blowout for some reason. Like that would suck. Like it's just like but
Well, then it
If
would
it was a
then we
blowout
wouldn't
in
have to do
Empire's
house
favor, I'd
operators.
be like, that's
Hey.
crazy. If it was a blowout in Empire's favor, I'd be like, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Agreed. No, okay, so let's move on to the team most likely to
To bust.
To bust.
I have Huntsman. In my
Yeah.
in my scenario, they're going to the champ bracket. I can see them. I can see something terrible happening, and like Huntsman.
It's 100% Huntsman.
I can honestly see Huntsman just like not even
'Cause
winning
Toronto.
a match.
Because Toronto.
Yes, there is a world where Huntsman just tank this event for some reason. Well, not for some reason. There's problems.
Yeah.
Prestinni, like they're not meshing maybe as well as they did last event. I don't know, but I think Huntsman's in the biggest position to lose the most.
Well, I mean, like, you just look at and like, because everyone's expecting them
yes,
to get out. I mean, when you look at their group with LAG, Ultra, Mutineers, but
Yeah.
if Awakening clicks, they could lose round one, and then suddenly, then you have to rematch against them, or like you beat Mutineers, then you lose to Ultra, then you
Ultra.
have to play the Mutineers
so yeah,
again. There's a lot of ways where like that could go wrong for you.
absolutely.
So I agree with that. Rex, any?
yeah, for the team most likely to bust, I mean, I would say Rokkr.
Yeah,
It's hard,
I mean,
like-
they're in a tough spot.
True.
It's weird because like I feel like a lot of people are already kind of discounting Rokkr now. So like, is it a bust? But I think yes. I mean, they're still high up in the ranking or CDL points. So I'd say Rokkr are going to be most likely to bust here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'd be Huntsman.
Agreed.
I could see that. So, let's give a sleeper player.
Okay.
let's leave a sleeper player for the last thing of the podcast here. Who's one guy that you're looking at that like, all right, they might be getting a little tough on this tournament? Who is it for you? Rex?
I mean, for me, I think it's going to be Clayster or Crimsix.
Interesting.
I think people think that they're good, but I think they're going to hit levels where it's like, wow, they're that good.
Yeah.
So I could see it being Clayster or Crimsix. And I know it sounds like I'm really
homering Empire.
I'm saying great things about Empire all the time. I can't think of anything that's not obscene. I'm like,
Yeah.
What do you mean you're lubing up Empire?
that sounds like I'm jerking off Empire all the time, but I really think Clayster or Crimsix are going to be like, they could show up.
That's a great one. I picked methods, but
Ooh,
I almost wonder if that's not like a valid, because
he's been good.
He's been good, but if Ultra do like succeed and get in the championship bracket, it'll probably be because
it could
methods.
be classic though.
It could be classic too. So kind of someone on Ultra, I think, is going to be a simple player, whether that's classic, whether it's methods, maybe even medals. I don't know. But like if Ultra does well, someone's going to have to be popping off.
Yeah.
So
well, neither of you picked him. I'll take Awakening. I mean, I'm on the hype train. I think he could play. And like in a world where they're clicking well, they could beat the Huntsman round 1, and then suddenly we're like, oh, Awakening. Wow.
He's
I would also think Prestinni or Pharaoh could be the most underrated going in.
Yeah.
I could see Prestinni. Everyone kind of think Prestinni's just like the bad player that's supposed to throw his life away for the hill. And like for some reason he works. But I think Prestinni is actually a good player, and I think he could actually do some damage too on the map. So I don't know. Prestinni actually might be my most underrated player going in.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I actually like the Pharaoh pick too. I mean, people were like the amount of hype for Pharaoh after that first event, and then basically like now Mac has come in, overshadowed him, and you got them making all the roster changes. He's kind of overshadowed now.
Mm-hmm.
People, he could quickly remind us that he's actually really, really good this game. So I can see that for sure. But all right, guys, there's a podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I mean, if you guys did, of course, we do appreciate all the support, the likes, the comments, the shares, everything else. It means a lot to us. We're trying to make this happen, and you guys are the blood in our veins that keep us alive and going.
That is some deep
Put an
words.
IV in me.
Yep.
Keep me alive. YouTube comments, Spotify comments, Apple Podcast comments. Keep me alive with my veins.
Oh man.
This is what we get when we record podcasts earlier. It's the energy at the end of the podcast from Rex.
I want to look at a vampire.
He's licking his wrist.
Oh no. All right, guys, we gotta end this before anything more obscene starts happening here. All right, guys. But as always, guys, I'm Josh, SalvationsElite, to my right is Bash _Bo3 Sam, and Rex ShadyNero. And guys, this is the Best 3 Podcast. We'll see you next time. We out.